there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I'd like to review another important accessory that I bring along with me pretty much every time I head out for an afternoon of flying that really helps to extend that flying day. It's a portable power bank by a company called Romoss, and it's important because it enables me to charge my cell phone, my tablet, my controllers, and even some of my quads when I'm out there in the field. Now, in the spirit of full disclosure, this company did send me one of these for review, but the honest truth is they only sent that to me after I bought one, liked it so much, and I sent them an email and said, hey, would you mind if I reviewed it on the channel? And of course they said, sure, we'd love you to. We'll send you one for review. So as I do in a lot of my clips where I do reviews, I'm going to take the brand new one they sent me and give it away at the end of the clip. So if you guys make it to the end of the clip, check the comments below. There's a link there that'll explain how you can enter the contest. I'll wait 7 days, pick somebody at random from all the people that enter the contest, and I'll send you a brand new version of this power bank. All right, so with that out of the way, the clip's going to cover a few things. The first thing I'll do is a brief unboxing and explain what comes with the product. Then I'll talk a lot about the technology behind the product, because really what's important to understand is that not all power banks are created equal, and I'll get into some of the reasons why this one is different and probably way better than a lot of the ones you're considering for the price. And then finally, I'll do a little bit of conclusions around how I use it and where it fits into my kit and my daily flying. So for starters, let's talk about the product. I'm not going to rip open the box because this is the one I'm going to send you guys. It's brand new. But inside that box, you'll find a short charging cable. Now the cable has a standard USB connection on one end and a USB-C connection on the other end. And that should give you a little bit of a clue as to why this is different than a lot of the power banks out there. You'll also get the power bank. The power bank itself is a 10,000 milliampere power bank. And I'll talk about why that number is a pretty critical number for me as far as size goes. And then the third thing is the manual. There's a full manual inside there that explains how to charge it, what all the ports do, and all the other wonderful things. So let's get into the technology a little bit. Most of the power banks that are on the market, and I mean most of them, are really not sophisticated at all. What you're buying when you buy a power bank, especially from an off-brand company, is you get a plastic case or maybe a metal case with a bunch of LiPo cells stuck inside of it connected to a USB connection. Now, that may seem like a good thing, but the challenge there is that you're connecting up extremely expensive electronics to it, and if there's no protection in that power bank or intelligence in the power bank to control the charging of that device or the charging of the power bank itself, you can have all kinds of problems with those power banks. Now, granted, those are rare, but over time, if you've got a power bank that's doing a really poor job of regulating the current that's being sent to the device you're charging, you could be slowly damaging that product over time, and you won't know it. Just one day it won't work. It won't take a charge, or maybe the battery won't charge fully, and you'll wonder why that happened. The Romoss product has got a ton of intelligence built in. So it's got not only protections built in so that you can't overcharge it, or if it gets shorted, it won't burst into flames, but also it's got a lot of brains about how it views the product you're charging. So when you first connect the product up to this through the USB connections on the end, it looks at that device and says, I can figure out exactly what the proper charging current is, not only for the device I'm charging, but more importantly, the current charge level of that device. So it's constantly monitoring the current flow to the device it's charging and adjusting that down or up as necessary to charge that device as quickly as possible, but in a very safe manner. So in addition to that, the other unique feature to this, and I've got this end shown here, is you've got a couple of controls, and I'll put a little diagram up here where you can see it, but there's a button on the side where you can check the power level. When you push that, you'll see the lights across the front. Pretty straightforward. There are 4 LEDs up there. They're 25% each, so as you're charging it, you can see how fully charged it is because it'll flash as it's charging, and when you're checking to see if you can charge a device with it, if you hit the button, it'll tell you how many electrons are left in the device that you can actually charge your device. You've also got a full-size USB-A connection over there, which will connect up to any standard device out. So if you've got an iPhone or Android product or a tablet of any manufacturer, plug in the standard USB cable to it, plug it into the device you're off and charging. One of the interesting things about it, though, is instead of most of the chargers have a USB connection on it, like a micro USB, this one has a USB-C connection on it. Now, if you're not familiar with that connection, that's the next evolution of what the USB standard is heading to. So a lot of the modern phones that are out there, I should say the non-Apple phones, the Android phones, are moving to a USB-C connection, which is really nice because it can carry more current. It's a smarter connection if you're using it for video and audio type connections, but even in a charging environment, it provides a lot of current. It'll provide up to 3 amps of current to the device you're charging, which allows you to charge it a lot faster. A lot of these only put out maybe an amp or an amp 0.2. So the ability to control, or should say send 3 amps of current out through that charging port means whatever you're charging has got plenty of juice that can charge it when it's thirsty. The other thing that's really nice about this is it's a QC or quick charge compliant device, which means if you've got some of the newer Android phones, if they're using a Snapdragon processor, they probably have that quick charge ability. Now, quick charge has gone through quick charge 1, quick charge 2, it's now in the quick charge 3, there's a quick charge 4 coming. This is a compatible device for all those different versions of quick charge, and it's also smart enough to know as I'm charging it, it figures out it is a QC1 or QC3 device, and it'll adjust its charging profile accordingly. So that's really, really nice. In addition to that, I just love the form factor of this thing. I mean, a lot of these chargers tend to be boxy. They have sharp corners on them. What attracts me so much about this are a couple of things. First, the connections are on the end. Some of these things have connections on the side, and you wouldn't think that's a big deal, but if I'm out in the field for the day and I'm using this to charge something I happen to be holding onto, like a controller, I want to be able to slip it into a pocket, maybe a pants pocket, and having the connections come out the end mean I can slide it down inside that pocket and not have a problem. The other thing that's nice about this is the design of it is really high end. They've used sandblasted aluminum on the outside. It's a very nice looking surface, very high end looking surface. They've got a rubber bumper along the outside edge, which not only protects it against drops, but it gives you a really good surface to grip onto. So they've put a lot of thought into developing this device and actually designing one that looks fantastic. So I like also the fact that it's a 10,000 milliampere. I'd mentioned that earlier in the clip. The reason for that is it's sort of in that perfect Goldilocks zone. And what I mean by that is it's not too big, because I can get ones that are 20,000 or 25,000 milliampere hours, which you figure is a good thing. Let's drag that out in the field. But the truth is a 10,000 is right in the middle of, again, being too small and being too big, where I find that it can charge everything I need to charge for that day of flying without coming back with extra current still in the charging bank. The worst thing for me, because I'm going out in the field a lot, is to carry extra stuff that's heavy. So if I take a power bank that's twice this big and I come home and it's still got a 50% charge on it, I didn't need a 20,000 milliampere battery bank. I could have gone with a 10,000. So for me, testing all the bigger ones and the smaller ones, I found some of them were too small that didn't provide enough current for the full day. This one provides just the right amount of current for me for an afternoon. So something around a 10 or 12,000 milliampere should suit your needs. So that's pretty much it for the review. I like it an awful lot, and I've tested a bunch of others and I've talked about them. And again, at the end of the day, what separates this from the pack for me, the current is the right size. The pricing is just about perfect on this thing. It's very competitively priced. I love the design. It's really high end. I also like that they've got the fast forward, or I should say forward thinking connections of the USB-C, because if you're using any of the new chargers that come with some of the Android phones, especially the Samsung phones, they typically are a USB type connection. So that means you can use your wall charger, which is a QC compliant wall charger, and will supply 3 amps of current to charge this guy pretty quickly. On the charging end of it, took me about 4 hours to get a full charge, because it will charge at a 2.4 amp rate, which again is a difference between this and a lot of other power banks. Most of the power banks out there charge at a 2 amp or maybe even less current, which means if I'm trying to push electrons into this thing, the more power I've got pushing those electrons in, the faster it gets charged. And it also has a charging circuit that monitors when it's being charged to not cause problems with overcharging the device or charging it too quickly. So any charger you have, whether it be 1 amp, 2 amp, 2.1, 2.4 amp, can charge it. But if you've got a QC device, it's typically a 3 amp ability on 5 volts, which will charge this pretty quickly. So about 4 hours, and I found that I can charge most of my tablets fully twice, and my cell phone between 4 and 6 times in an afternoon. So plenty of extra current there. I've charged my controllers with it. I fly with the Spark. I can charge the Spark from it. So it gives me sort of that ability to carry a plug with me to charge the stuff that's out there in the field, which is a great feature. All right, so that's pretty much it for the clip. I did mention the contest. I have one of these in a brand new box, like I'd mentioned at the top of the clip, and I'm happy to give that away. One of the things I love doing is if I take a product in to review it, like I did with this one, I really like to give it back, because you guys support me as a channel, and I love the fact that I've got a ton of loyal subscribers that come in and comment and really watch the videos. So anything I can do as a give back to you guys, I'm going to do. So as I review these products, when they send me extras like they did here, I'm going to give them back to you guys. So it's a really simple process. There's a link below where you can go to the contest page, just enter your email in there, and again, after a week's time, I'll pick one of those emails at random. There's no strings attached. I'll ship it for free, and I'll send it off to you no matter where you are in the world. So don't feel like if you're in Australia or Ireland or some other place that I won't send it to you. I'll bear the cost of shipping. And then I'm not going to do anything with those emails. I promise that. So once the contest is over, I flush all those emails and we start fresh. If you want to become a subscriber to our newsletter, there's another link below where you can subscribe to the newsletter. Now, the newsletter is something we send a couple times a month with like discount codes and interesting news about the business we're in or the hobby we're in, so you can stay up to date on that kind of stuff. And I do giveaways on the newsletter as well. And that's, again, free to join, so if you decide to do that. And then the last thing I'll say is I really want to thank you guys again for all the subscriber counts. You guys have been subscribing in big numbers. I love that. That's very reassuring to me that the clips I'm putting together are actually doing the job out there and you guys are finding value in them. So if you enjoy the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button down there and join the family, because we love having new subscribers join this group. And again, you'll get updates when we post new clips. So that's pretty much it for today. I have a lot of fun putting these clips together. Hopefully you're finding value in them. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about, drop them in the comments below, and I promise to get back to you as quickly as I can. Until next time, happy flying.